Welcome back to me, welcome back to Thailand, welcome back to Blue Thai here from Thailand. I hope you're doing well. It's one put here today, yeah, well, here in Thailand, etc. It's Wednesday, I believe. You've got to help me here. So I feel, it's Wednesday, I'm sure. Yeah, it's Wednesday. And it's one put, and it's what's it called, around about about 11 o'clock in the morning here in Thailand, and so I'm just getting myself together. And no, I've been up for a few hours. The game, Man City against Newcastle against Man City, the League Cup semi-final first leg, and at St James's Park. It's at 8 o'clock United Kingdom time, 3 a.m. Thailand time. So I didn't get to bed till about 5 o'clock, and then of course my mind was awake then, and then of course for instance my mind, so I was listening to Total Sports Bar, for instance, and listened to that and about the VAR decisions and the crap what's it called from that. So then I got up around about 8 o'clock in the morning, and then Penny Isis got up and then she's disappeared, so that was good. The puppy's coming here again, the puppy, I'm not going to go into it, but so it's celebrating a 2-0 win, Manchester City. Congratulations. This is my celebration of choice. It's called water, which I drink a lot of water every single day. Addicted to the stuff. For instance, you have to be in this part of the world, etc. For instance, and it's my favourite drink. Anyway, so we are celebrating a 2-0 victory. It should have been 3-0, but was it called by that stupid VAR decision? And it's just ridiculous. But overall, I thought we were the better team. They had chances. Look, the emphasis on Newcastle was to win the game. They had to get something out of the game to take back to the Etihad, right? Man City, we needed to get a point, a draw, as a point of something, or a goal or whatever, or a narrow defeat, and that Man City fans will be quite happy to that. Then we can overturn Newcastle to the Etihad, because we've got a very good record against Newcastle. It's not always a given, but the most important thing in these games, etc., that you don't you're still in the game. It's like Champions League games, etc., when the first, second leg, etc., that kind of thing. But so these are important. So all the pressure was on Newcastle. Newcastle coming back from a very difficult game at the weekend, etc., where they played Bournemouth, and they had to play 120 minutes of football, and that clearly showed in the second half. And also with Eddie Howe's press conference, he mentioned that. And as Man City got stronger with the substitutions, etc., for instance, Newcastle got weaker and we got more. But the opportunities, because of course your mainstream southern-based biased media will talk about the opportunities which they had, which is they're going to have got opportunities. Again, Manchester City are going to concede opportunities. But the fact is what do you do with them? They didn't score. Okay, so they didn't put the opportunities away. And the main opportunity came kind of like for them really was the ball which was deflected, to which James Trafford did an amazing one-handed save to knock it over the bar. He was brilliant. Also our defence as well, Kuzinov and Max Elaine, I was very concerned about, because the likes of cheated that Bruno and him and O'Leary going at it, and Nunes, etc., and that attitude and their physicality, which for instance Newcastle so highly depend on. And I was worried about where Kuzinov and Max Elaine was going to, Anaki was going to basically how they're going to cope, and they cope perfectly. They cope better than perfectly. Absolutely fantastic. This, for instance, and they've been absolutely superb. So really pleased for these two. Etc. Really are, and they deserve the credit. Max Elaine, who's come along from the Championship, playing at Watford in the Championships, come along and League Cup semi-final first leg, and did us proud. Absolutely fantastic. And Kuzinov, quality defender. That ball he got back from for instance, the back heel for instance from Voltemar in the second half, etc., when he just out of just brilliant, out of detention, absolutely superb. Anyway, so let's go into the game. Let's start with the usual. Let's go with the stats. No, let's go with the lineups. So City started off with James Trafford, Max Delaney, Kuzanov, Nathan Aki, Martinez Nunes, Nicholas O'Reilly, Phil Foden, Jamie Doku, Anthony Semenyo, Bernardo Silva, and Erling Haaland. What was clear to see there was no Nico G, and Rodri was on the bench. So, and I'm like, because I woke up and, for instance, about 10 to 3, and, for instance, quarter to 3, sorry, and I was sitting down and I'm thinking, well, where's the, I looked at the team news and I was, no Nico G. So I don't know what the story is there, for instance, and I did hear Pep asking the question about Nico G, so he must have picked up something, which is just a bit disappointing, because Man City, without CDM, etc., don't normally win games. In the substitutions, Ryan Cherky, Donnarumma, Lewis, Rodri, Charlie Gray, Divine Masaka, Tiana Reinders, Ryan McDowell, and Ryan Ignori. Welcome back, Ryan Ignori. So for instance, but the stats of the game, Man City 57% possession, 43% for Newcastle. Shots off target, City 2, Newcastle 6, so they had more shots off target, but when it comes to on target, Man City 4, Newcastle 3. So Man City have more shots on target. For the away side, again, it's up to Newcastle to score the goals, to get a lead, to take back to the Etihad, right? So but you can clearly see that, for instance, Man City were a better team. So even by the stats. So we had more corners, fouls, 10, 12, yellow cards, 4. For instance, I thought there were a lot of yellow cards. I think you tried to make let the what do you call it? A lot of the thingy go, but but for instance, I thought the physical Man City stood up to the Newcastle's physicality, and also didn't get, because I was listening to LB Lewis Busgold on his channel, and he was going through the analysis. We didn't get into a fist fight with Newcastle where we normally do, really. City will take a 2-goal lead in the second leg against Carrow Cup semi-final with a superb win over Newcastle. City could, or maybe should have been behind just 5 minutes after Newcastle counter-attack, but the Blues, Cold and Jacob Music cross-bound Johan Wieser, but only James Trafford to beat, but he's good, his shot well covered. Well, I don't know, for instance, just because this guy has a shot maybe on goal doesn't mean to say that James Trafford's not going to to save it. So I'm not going to say that, for instance, they should have been ahead. Could they should have been ahead to the whatever? But you never know. Again, he missed it, he skied it. This is the difference between them and City. We take our chances. Again, the shots on goal where they did not, for instance, and again that was I think the quality in the two sides came out of why Man City was second position and Newcastle and where they are. They're a good side, Newcastle, don't get me wrong. Also they were coming into the game in a very decent decent form, but the thing is, etc., they also are the Man City just had that hint of quality, and that's what gets us over the line in a lot of these games. For instance, because our quality is shining out now, for instance, it really is, and it provided the best opportunity for either side, which came in increasingly bad tempered first 45 minutes, with neither keeper being tested. We started out the first 45 minutes. Again, it's up to the Newcastle to go in the offensive. The crowd was up. They had signs out and murals and Newcastle, and during it was good even though they had a few shots off target, etc. Man City controlled it, a lot of the possession that we did quieten the crowd, etc. And again, it's up to them to score a goal to get on the front foot, to which they never did, and they never really troubled Manchester City, apart from etc. that Trafford thing, etc. in the first half, but nothing concrete, etc. So back at half time, etc. I was feeling quite relaxed, and and I was about the game and the way the game was going. Of course, getting into the All Square with St James's Park and a major coup for the semi-final. Yeah, exactly. Major coup is nothing to be sniffed at. Exactly, nothing to be sniffed at. But there was a feeling of inevitability that the host would step up the pace in the second period. This is what you were thinking. You were thinking that, for instance, they've got to go on the front foot, they've got to go on tackles, etc. But the difference was the fact that they tailed off, etc. But Man City stood up, and especially with Pep, and used wonderful substitutions. Also, it provoked again after 5 minutes, as the Magpies hit the woodwork twice in the space of a few seconds, as James Trafford somehow clawed Wiss's looping header out, and then Grimmelaz struck the ball from inside the post. Exactly. Of course they're going to have an opportunity, but again, they didn't put them away. But what City did. And it's not like they're not going to have it. They're a Premier League side, they're a good side. But again, for instance, they don't have a Haaland, they don't have a Semenyo, they don't have a Cherki, they don't have, and you clearly sees. The Blue responded immediately on the 53rd minute when the deadlock was finally broken. Jeremy Joko breezed past Harvey Barnes. It was always going to happen. I was just waiting. In the first half, etc., for Doku and Semenyo. Semenyo especially wasn't taking on their man, and but in the second half, etc., and Doku did take on his man, for instance, and he's probably stepping up his game now because now Semenyo's in, and and he took on his man and he crossed the ball. Let me read. Jeremy Doku finally breezed past Harley Barnes on the left, crossed into a low where Bernardo's flick, and that important flick by Bernardo Silva just took it away. That tiny flick from Bernardo. People say Bernardo Silva doesn't do much. My God, he does. You really got to watch Bernardo Silva and the way he plays football, and that little kick by Bernardo Silva, for instance, tap, etc., just took it past the goalkeeper and the defenders, and Semenyo was there, bump to knock it in, flick across a path of Semenyo, who had made no mistake from close range. 10 minutes later, Semenyo had the ball in the back of the net as the brilliant flicked home Tiana Reinder's corner, only for VAR to disallow. Allow it for a subjected offside against Erling Haaland. I'll come back to VAR in a minute. It felt incredibly harsh, to say the least, and initially the home side gave it a huge flip, with Tonali almost levelling minutes later. But City's marshalled by the brilliant Abdino Kudinov and Maxi Lane stood firm and retook control, and the excellent burst down left by Ryan Ignori would teeing up a second for Ryan Cherki at 8 minutes from added time. It was no less than City deserved after the VAR controversy, but it felt like justice had been done. Yeah, correct, absolutely. Because and also that lovely ball, that interlane between Semenyo to Cherki was a goal. That lovely flick was a goal he did to Ryan Ignori. He goes forward, and all he needs is Ryan Ignori to pass it to Cherki, and Cherki to slot it home. Just because it took out two defenders, because they were both on Ryan Ignori. All they had to do was pass it across to Cherki. Wonderful goal, great goal by Cherki, and for instance, justice. So there was a warrior starman. There was many warriors in the Sky Blues at St James's Park. Trafford was excellent, and the most defensive unity, Alain and Guznev in particular. Bernardo dug deep into his energy reserves, and the keeper performed, but Semenyo, who should have had 2 goals to celebrate in just as the honours. Yeah, you got to give it Semenyo. Doku was very good. As I said, Maxi and Kuzanov, excellent. James Trafford, etc. And again, it's only his second game. Good against Exeter, but equally good today. So he's got to be bigged up. For instance, Doku was excellent. You got to say Semenyo because of again his second goal, 3 games. Played for Bournemouth, scored the winner there. Played for Man City a couple of days later, scored for City against Exeter and set up Luke Rico-Lewis. And then today, for instance, he in the cup, for instance, scores an important goal. Should have had 2. Great backflip. Back heel, and absolutely brilliant, superb. And that lovely 1-2 with Ryan Cherki when he was moved on to the left. Not 1-2, what's it called, the pass to Cherki to and ignore it. Abdenir Kuzanov take about Kuzanov 21, Elaine 22 were pitched together after Brighton less than a week ago, but you would never have guessed it. As the Blues injury crisis deepened, both youngsters stepped up to been superb in these games, and they play together, having great understanding as they go. But they have done a magnificent job for their team. The Blues have been unbeaten in these three games, conceded only 2 goals and a clean sheet in the bare pit of the favourites of St James's Park. Both youngsters should be incredibly proud of their contributions. Absolutely. Sorry, I did say we have conceded. Was a while then. Exeter's fantastic goal, but other than that, for instance, you would not think they were. We lost Ruben Dias and Josko Guardiola, and it's like, oh no, these two have been absolutely fantastic, especially Guardiola. And we've now we're still looking at Matt Gahey, whether he's coming going, who knows. But now a lot of City fans are saying, do we really need Matt Gahey? We're asking this question. So because Ruben Dias will be back at the end of January. So, but I mean personally, I would say we do, because again, a lot of games to play. And so, for instance, and it's good to have the likes. So if we can get Matt Gahey, great. But if he wants to come. Doesn't come. Do one. Pep Guardiola. We were really good. We were there. First step to reach the final. On Erling Haaland, Semenyo played better after the break, but we're not completely connected. But they were not ready to get the ball. Second half, they were ready. On Semenyo, we knew Bournemouth did an incredible job with him, and every time the ball arrived to him, he was always there. On Semenyo's goal, and ruled out. Fourth official VAR. I'll come back to that in a minute. Semenyo, tough game today, but it was really. But we stuck there. We knew that we would get chances, and it was the right area. Tapped in, and we were victorious. I'm so happy. The environment here was perfect. Everyone is confident and wanting it to achieve the best. This is when I talk about Man City. I have come into, and they helped me with my confidence and made me feel welcome. It's been a lot. But I've really enjoyed it so far. I'm picking up things very quickly and enjoying it. I'm taking the confidence I had from Bournemouth here and playing with a smile on my face and enjoying every moment. The second goal should have been counted. The referee came on, spoke to me and told me what was going on. And it is what it is. Yeah, he's learning Man City speak. It is what it is. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Semenyo and Bernardo Silva also said his attitude, and this is it. When you're looking at players getting new players, when I see United players always linked with this player and that player and this player. Oh, we're going to get this player. Man City do the due diligence on these players. The guy's a religious man. He's a very humble man, and he's the kind of guy, for instance, who will fit so well at Manchester City. Semenyo, because he'll just fit right in. He's hard working, wants to talk about the team. He's humble, and he's for instance, and he's what can he do for the team, and so he's going to be perfect for Manchester City. Perfect signing. And that's what Bernardo Silva says. Right, okay, so let me just have a quick chat about the VAR decision. Yeah, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry, the VAR was listen to the negatives, the plus. I was listening to Jay McCarrigan, oh Christ's sake, and then Mackie Richards, and I listening to for instance Sports Bar, for instance, and they're saying, oh well, it was a proper, it was what do you call it? It was a subjective game, but Erling Haaland was offside. But the thing is, they brought in VAR to stop the mistakes, right? The blatant, obvious mistakes what the referees was doing. He's supposed to be helping the referee. We're supposed to be assisting the referee, not rearranging, refereeing the game. And that's basically what they've done. The rear ref, they sat there going back and forth on this thing. Where did he put it? Where's this? Where's that? During these ridiculous lines, which we just is stupid. And and I'm saying that Erling Haaland was offside and he was interfering in play, which is so not true. And his calf muscle or his backside was his bum was up a millimetre offside. It's just ridiculous. It just honestly, when you're going down that road, and spending 5 minutes, the length of it is so subjective. Could it have been half, whatever? And this is just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I can't tell, and Pep Guardiola was so right to call it out afterwards, and also was so happy that he actually called out the fact that, for instance, the Crystal Palace thing, the Crystal Palace handball, these ridiculous VAR decisions. The referee said it was a goal. VAR said it wasn't a goal or whatever. Asked the referee to go and have a look at the to the camera. So he's now a referee is overruling the referee of decision on a subjective of what could have been whatever. And you're drawing little lines and saying, well, he was a millimetre breadth. This is not the way the VAR was supposed to be brought in. Not the way. It's not the. It's I sometimes I like VAR. Again, it's done good. But this incident here is just a ridiculous incident, Russell Gold, which should not. The VAR should not be really getting in. Nothing was blatantly obvious there. A millimetre here and there, for instance, that's not what VAR's supposed to be for. Honestly, it's ridiculous. They said this shot on goal, or Ireland prevented it because they, pushed the guy out of the way. They were grappling in the box. Semenyo back-heeled it. He did not know. I'm sure within a millisecond, for instance, of Erling Haaland knew that Semenyo was going to back-heel it. And was going to push the guy out of the way. I'm sorry, rubbish, total rubbish. And again, and if you could see the shot coming in, then he pushed him out of the way. You could see it, but no, he didn't. It was back heel. Nobody knew that Semenyo was going to back heel it. And for instance, and the goalkeeper was doing the star jump. He was going out there, so he wasn't. So it was a perfectly good goal. And ruled out by VAR and by a millimetre by somebody's bum. That's not the way that football should be. No way. And there was no VAR in a lot of these games in the FA Cup, and it may be controversial moments, but it is just that is like it's OTT really is, and for instance, it's just ridiculous. I'm sorry, VAR stupid, really is. Anyway, but never mind. We go to the rags the weekend, etc. With a 2-0 victory. For instance, we take that back to the Etihad, and I'm more delighted. I'm tired, but I'm more than delighted that, for instance, we've got the win, and we can relax a little bit. We've got the rags. Looking forward to the rags. They got Carragher in, so yeah, they're the always going to do well and blah blah blah. The mainstream bullshit media, for instance, still going on about blah blah blah, trying to make it as it's a wonder management team they got in. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. True Blue Tie from Thailand. Like and subscribe. Tell me what you're thinking, what's on your mind, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. And we'll look forward to the weekend, etc. Where we got the rags. Ladies got Bournemouth in the cup, and and I'll do a review of that one as well coming up. So we've got a lot to talk about. Again, never a dull day at Manchester City. But like and subscribe. Tell me what you're thinking, what's on your mind, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.